Howdy Planet Coaster 2 friends! Today we're building an interactive ride packed with moving targets, hidden Easter eggs and a few surprises that will test your aim. I'm Gemma and welcome back to our 50 by 50 Wild West Park in Planet Coaster 2. This is episode 3 of our 12-part series where we're building a fully detailed Wild West world, one ride at a time. So let's dive in. So I'm not sure if you noticed, but when we got the Western Pack for Planet Coaster 2, we didn't actually get blueprints with the pack, and I thought that was quite a strange thing to do. So what I done was I looked at Planet Coaster 1 just to confirm that there was actually blueprints in the original game, and lo and behold, there is actually a set. I think there's maybe about 10 blueprints, and along with that there is a shooting ride which has all of those blueprints in it. So someone has taken all those individual blueprints, and when I say someone, I mean someone at Frontier, and they have made a ride and then made it themed with this Western Pack. And I thought that's absolutely fantastic, but we don't have that in Planet Coaster 2, and I don't know why they never decided to make those blueprints available. I mean, sure, I do have my theories as to why they are not currently in game or currently in Planet Coaster 2. And again, this is no shame or no shade to the person who has created those blueprints, but I'll be completely honest with you guys, they are not the best blueprints that I have seen Frontier make. But saying that, they had the opportunity when they brought over the Western Pack to completely revamp what they actually have, whether if that was making what was original in Planet Coaster 1 or just, you know, redoing the whole entire blueprint section. But nope, the team at Frontier decided not to do that. So I then thought, it's my job, I will take that on, that will be my responsibility to recreate what we have in Planet Coaster 1. However, like I say, because of some of the blueprints look a little bit outdated now is probably the best term for it, I just thought I'm going to take what we currently have in Planet Coaster 1 and refresh it for Planet Coaster 2. So yeah, some of the buildings that will look very familiar to you if you have played Planet Coaster 1. Other buildings I have taken inspiration from the shape and the pieces, but then I've just added my own little flair. For example, the station building right now, I have renamed it after the station building which is used for the shooting range. Also, the track layout is very similar as well. But just to bring everything up to a Planet Coaster 2 standard, I guess you could call it, I have, again, just used my own creative flair and added in things that I think just make the building a little bit more interesting to look at. Also, I have really compacted this in because we are making a 50 by 50 park. I didn't want this dark ride to be absolutely massive, and it actually has taken up quite a bit of space. In fact, the whole entire main street, which took us 2 episodes to get out, it turns out that once I finish actually building this, that it is the whole length of the main street. So if you're looking at the park from a bird's eye view, it is to the right hand side of that main street, so you don't actually see it because there's quite a lot of trees, which is really nice. But this is why it's taken so long for me to build it, because I was over ambitious and I thought, oh yeah, dark ride's not going to take too long to make. But not only do you have the track layout, which is not that hard to build, you've also got the individual buildings, then there's the theming on top of that, and then there's the lights and all the triggers as well for the interactivity. So again, because it is based on a Planet Coaster 1 blueprint, which is a shooting range, and this is something that we don't actually have in Planet Coaster 2, I had to take one of the track rides and adapt that to the layout of what is available with Planet Coaster 1. Anyway, back to what I'm building right now. So this is a hotel, and you'll see that on the balcony there that it is slightly hanging off and it's broken, and that is the best thing that I seen when I opened up the blueprint, and I thought that's great. I love when like there's just like a building that's, you know, it looks like janky or it looks like a little bit run down, and it just makes your eye kind of look at it in a different light, and just has more interest. So I was really inspired by that. There's not much of the buildings that are run down, but this one was particularly a favourite one of mine. I thought we definitely have to build that. So very happy with the way that this has turned out. It is actually called Desperado Hotel, which again has been taken from the original. And I like all the signs that are on this as well. So the cash only, no gold or no teeth or whatever is actually on the original. And then here I just decided to put a little no vacancy sign and just some wooden pieces there for support as well. And then just some trims and things just to make it look a lot better. And then we're just finishing off the track right there, and now we're adding in a little building here. Again, none of this is actually what's in the original, so if you do go away and open up the original game, it will not be like a one-for-one replica. It's just me taking inspiration and adding things and changing things just to make it look a little bit better. So yeah, I do actually love the way that this has turned out. It's just taken a lot longer than anticipated with all of the things that we ended up adding to it as well. Talking about updates, I have decided I'm going to try and give you guys a little bit more updates, especially for those who are a channel membership. So currently on the channel we do have 2 memberships. If you do have the funds to support the channel, it would be greatly appreciated. But again, you know, for those people who can't, just watching the videos, liking the videos is so helpful. And with the money that I get from AdSense and the money that I get from memberships, I am currently saving up to buy a 360 camera, which is really exciting. For those who are like, Gemma, what's a 360 camera? Basically, it allows you to film in a 360 way. And I'm going to be basically taking that camera and taking you around places in Scotland, which are theme parks and zoos, and then putting them on the channel. So I just find that for me, looking at real life things give me so much more inspiration than just trolling on the internet to try and find reference pictures and images. And sometimes that can be quite hard. So I thought I'm going to try and take you guys along with me, and that's what we're going to do. So if you want to become a membership, there's the button on the channel and you can have a look at the tiers and see if that's something that you're interested in. But obviously, you know, don't feel that you have to do that. As I said, just watching the content is more than enough, and I greatly appreciate anyone who watches or likes or comes to the live stream. So thank you. So right now we are building the targets. So these are all custom made, and you can see that I'm triggering them out at the moment. Some of them are going up and down, some of them are turning, you know, like that one. There is 3 current different sizes of targets, and they all do different fancy things, and it was very fun to put together, but also quite a challenge for me because it's not something that I've really done before. Using the sequenizer is kind of like editing a video. You know, once you've got a frame that you want to do, then you see the duration of it and layer it up like that. So it was very, very fun, but something that I need to finish off actually. So this is the Unlucky Gambler. Lots of trims on this one. It's probably one of my favourite buildings that I have made as well. I was also very conscious of the colours that I was using with this one. So Unlucky Gambler is obviously a place that you gamble lots of money, and with money being gold, I wanted to include like a really kind of nice yellow colour with it, just to blend it all in together. And we also do have a bouncer. Here he is on the door there. So he's got his car and he's got his rope and his spade. So if you don't pay off your debts, he will be there, and he is not afraid to use all of his tools to take care of business. I will leave it at that. And now I'm just adding in some rocks. Rocks be rocking, trees are trees, my friend. So this is just rock work that I really wish we could recolor. Obviously we're building a Mediterranean park right now, so these are the rocks that are suitable for this area. I really wish we could get more like a sandy, dusty rock. And I know what you might be thinking, Gemma, just use the aquatic ones. Well, the aquatic ones glow in the dark, believe it or not, and they are not the best suitable rock, even though we can recolor them. And then they've got like the little shell bits on them, and it's just a bit of a nightmare. You'll see that a little bit later on, that in this building here, this is supposed to be like kind of like a cave that they've went mining, So I thought, what better way than to use the aquatic rocks, because we could recolour them, but when they are in the dark, they really do glow this really weird colour. And no, I have still not emailed Frontier, and I really should. Maybe I should stop the voiceover right now and get that email typed up and say, hello Frontier, along with adding the Western pack, can you please implement having the off-the-grid wall pieces, which would make my life so much easier, and can we also have recolourable rocks? Thank you very much. Love, hugs and kisses, Mrs. TeaRex. I don't sign my emails off like that. Anyway, we are moving on to making handy hanks. This is a wagon shop. Well, it's a wagon repair shop. I love the fact that it's got this like little pulley that is pulling up the wagon to fix the wheel. So it's like a kind of, while you wait, we will fix your wagon for you. I was about to say vehicle there. Technically it is a vehicle. So yeah, Handy Hanks is a bit of a throwback to Hank, which is a character in the career mode. Hank is lovely. He's always there to help. He's always got a pen on hand, and he's just a handy fella. So that's why I decided to call it Handy Hanks. But I have also been playing Schedule 1. And one of the buildings in there is called Handy Hanks. And I thought, oh my gosh, I wonder if people are thinking that I'm taking inspiration from another game. But honestly, Handy Hanks came to me first before I ever played Schedule 1, so that's fine. This is a sheriff's office here. There is a position that is vacant if anyone does want to apply. So we are just using these moss pieces here to recolour them with dirt to just give it a little bit more grime. Again, because we're in a Mediterranean map, that you are quite limited to the different substrates that you can paint, so that's why we added that in. So next we are making some gallows. So this is where they would hang people who've been quite naughty, and I'm not a judge or an executioner, so I'm sure this is very popular back in the day. But yeah, we just decided to add in gallows here. We've got a little animatronic there. And then we've got the nooses there. There's 2 nooses, you know? You can be hung with a friend. And then I've put in some prop pieces as well. And this is a bit silly, I will admit it. Wanted signs. That's not silly. But you will see that I go and get that moss that I was speaking about. And I put it underneath it. So it looks like there's blood. Oh, there's some trapdoors as well. I also decided that the modern planks were just too fancy and it needed to be a bit more rustic. So yeah, I put in like some red kind of implied blood there. I know that when people do get hung, their neck snaps. Sorry for people who didn't know that. So the chance of them bleeding probably is quite slim. I just wanted to add in some like interest. They could also maybe like use it as a guillotine area of execution. Guillotine is more French, I believe. And we've got some coffins in there as well, which if you don't pay your debts, it's quite good because you can just nip across the road and quickly get hung. Pay your debts, kids. In fact, just don't gamble. That's probably a lot easier. So at this stage, I decided to just add in more details, and this is just a really compact area with all of the different interactions, and I wanted to make sure that there was so much to look at and so much to shoot, and it's kind of stepped away now from what was originally in Planet Coaster 1, and this building here is a church, and it's really just taking the progression of the story. So if you're gambling and you don't pay your debts, then you can end up at the sheriff's office, and if you don't pay your debts, then potentially you could be hung at the gallows, and then there's a church that you can repent your sins before you get put to the gallows. Here's a steeple that I've just decided to delete. It was just far too chunky, and also we decided to use some of the, what pack is this? It is the Viking pack, just because it looks really fancy, and at night time with those windows all lit up, it looks so good. I do actually think I need to go back into here and put a little bit more thick trim around the windows on the side there. It does look a little bit strange, but we can do that. We can add that in. And then we've just got some coffins here. And I also really wanted to add in a little bit of an Easter egg as well. So you'll see that I have made some tombstones here. There's currently 3, so one of them at the end here, which I absolutely love doing, currently has some text on it, which basically says, "Here lies all of Gemma's failed projects. R.I.P. May they rest in peace." The other 2 are blank, so if you have anything funny that you would want to put on a coffin, then let me know in the comments and I'll certainly add that in. So yeah, it's freshly buried, all my failed projects. This one's not going to fail. We are going to get to episode 12. I have made that my mission. And I'm really enjoying the series, so it's not going to be difficult. It just is quite time consuming with the amount of detail that we're going into. But I hope you guys are enjoying it, because I have really enjoyed doing it as well. But yeah, we are now into the little mineshaft area here. These are the aquatic rocks that I was speaking about that glow in the dark. They've also got, some of them have got the little shell bits that you have to hide, and yeah, it's a little bit fiddly. Also, when you come into this building, on the left hand side there is another door, and if you go through that door, this is where they would store all of the cars that they're not using, so they can decide, you know, if it's a really busy day, then they can put maximum cars on the track. If it's, you know, a little bit quieter, just to save on the energy and the cost of running it, then they can, you know, limit how many cars are going to be on the track. But yeah, there's nothing in there. And now we're just adding some TNT. So this was something that wasn't included in the update for a number of reasons that Frontier said that will be put back into the game. But I wasn't going to be waiting about. I decided to make my own TNT, and we've got some explosions there. And there's a little danger side. And then you come round and it says, "Oh, too late." And then we've just got, again, some moving targets in here as well, and it just really adds to that interactivity. So you're trying to shoot these targets, and then there's these big explosions happening, and there's all these lights, and yeah, it's a little bit of a stimulation, just like, oh my god, what is going on kind of thing. But that's the fun of it all. And now I'm just adding in some rocks, and you'll see here that there's another track right there. So that is actually the railway train that goes around the perimeter of the park, and I thought it'd be really nice to include that within the dark ride. So Alton Towers does this in the UK. So if you're on the runaway mine train, you'll also see the river rapids, and I really like that interactivity between these 2 rides, that if they time it correctly, then if you're going around at the same time, then you'll see like other people on a different ride, and it's just a really nice thing that I thought was pretty cool. It also just adds a little bit more movement to the whole thing. So yeah, so lots of rocks here. A rock do be rock, as I have said before, and we are just going to be adding in 2 more buildings, and then we'll get on to putting the lights in. So this whole building it's all just a facade. Just now we're going to make kind of like a saloon. So these would be made out of relatively cheap materials like MDF and all this stuff, and once it has been built, there's nothing behind these things. They might use it for storage for whatever reason, but it's something that you could kind of like easily get into. But once it's been built, I would imagine that they just leave it. They probably don't even dust it, and I think that's kind of adds to the kind of griminess of it. So it's been built essentially in like a big studio, and they put the ride in and put these like lights in, and yeah, that's exactly what they do with the majority of theme parks. Now I'm adding in a custom roof because this was really difficult to try and roof with the pieces that we had. So I thought we'll just use this like little wooden bit, and then I thought it'd be quite nice just to again use that kind of like grungy, it's been used before, and we've got bits of the tile that's now missing, and I'll continue that through the other 2 as well. And then we're just adding in some more trims and more decoration. It does get to the point that because all of the buildings are using the Western Park and you're just rinsing and repeating, but maybe like a different shape, that sometimes it does get a little bit challenging of, well, what am I going to build next? And I think that's why I felt like slightly a little bit burnt out by this. And because the weather's been really nice, I've been just, wanting to chill out and enjoy that. But yeah, we are just adding in some of the balcony pieces as well. This is actually a really nice kind of compact build as well. And like I said before, with the balcony breaking on the hotel and with these pieces missing, there's just like quite a nice charm about it. That it's like a little bit run down, a little bit janky. And then this piece I had to change to fit in. So yeah, piece count is pretty heavy on this one, but I think it does look quite good as well. And then we're just going to move that door out a little bit. There we go, and recolour everything. And I really think the green and the brown looks good. We're putting in the second part over here as well. And I just thought I could maybe like change it up a little bit so it just doesn't look all too similar. And then we've got the other side in. And then I like the idea of if this was like a saloon or like a hotel or whatever it is. To me, I feel like it's a saloon. We would have the hitching posts where you would hitch up your horse and then go in for a drink or whatever. So we've put that in with all the little grimy bits as well. And then I thought I'd make a tiny little saloon here. So this is going to be Ellie's saloon, just because I've actually still not named this park. In the bottom corner, you'll see that it's called Ellie's Wild West World, which is a bit of a mouthful to say. So is it called Ellie's Wild West World? I'm sure it could be, but I never really did get much of a response of what we should name the park, so it's still open for debate. So there we go, we've got Ellie's Saloon here, same with that green and brown theme, just to make it look consistent throughout the whole thing. And then I thought I would also add in some barrels at the left hand side, just to make it feel like there's been a delivery that we would need that to sell the ale or whatever that's going to be inside. So yeah, lots of deliveries there, and a little door at the side, and again some hitching posts with that dirt, the moss decal, which I think is my favourite thing. I love that moss decal. And then we've put in some rose bushes here and sinking in some of the hay, just because if you're taking your horse and hitching them up, then you probably want to give them something to eat as well. Continuing that trim around the side and on the edges there, just recolouring that to make it all fit in. I love recolouring things. It makes me feel pretty chuffed, pretty happy when the colour is correct. And then this is our last building. This is it's kind of like a shop. Kind of wanted it to just be like a general store where you could go away and pick up like fresh eggs and tobacco, and we didn't really have a general shop, so that was the aim for this one. Very basic, very demure, very mindful. And now we're just adding in some of the decking here, got some of the steps as well, looking pretty good. And then just adding in the clutter, so lots of barrels, which is great because then you can hide some targets behind this as well. I kind of struggled with the roof of this one. We've got a little general store sign there, and then I thought I would put in what the shop would be selling. So we've got canned goods, then we've got fresh eggs, and then this one I went for tobacco. And then over here I thought we could put in some hay, that you could get more hay if you need any more hay, and then more of these targets as well, which are fantastic. I love them. Very pleased with how this has turned out actually. I will be adding the targets onto the workshop once I've finished with them, once I've cleaned them up a little bit. So I'll have like a little target blueprint, and I don't know if I'll add the whole entire ride onto the workshop. It depends how easy it is to group it all together, but if I can, I definitely will add on to the workshop if people are interested in taking a look at it before the park's obviously completely finished and uploaded to the workshop. Also, for those who want to be included into the park, I have not forgotten about you, and that will definitely be added in as well. So as we are just wrapping up now, if you want to be in the park and you are not already, then do remember to pop a little comment down below. Give this video a like, I always appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.